power of energy and just manifestation and just dreaming day and night, eyes open, eyes closed, just making sure that the universe works in a way that it sort of brings that to you, that song to you. So that's what happened with me. I always knew I wanted to do it.
And how and where did this realization spark that acting was sort of going to be your calling, and that you wanted to unearth this song, metaphorically speaking?
Well, I think I was a very, very little girl when I knew in my heart that I wanted to be an actor. I was watching a film, and I've said this many times, and I remember the moment I looked at the screen, on the TV screen, and thought, I don't understand why I'm here, and she's there. I should be there. And I didn't want her to be out of the TV screen. I was ready to share it. I was like, just want to be in there. And then I made no bones about it. I was not shy about it. I was a very shy girl, though, growing up, but I was not shy about telling my mother, Mama, this is what I want to do. You know, how do I do this? So she would say, in our language, कि पढ़ लिख के कुछ कर लो, उसके बाद जो करना है करना. जो भी करना hai. Right. So, and my nani also, you know, they all used to be like, just study hard, and once you're done studying, the world is your oyster. So I always wanted to do this. In fact, even when I was in college, and when I was in college, I wanted to pursue chemical engineering. And in fact, just today we met a few students, and I told them that, you know, I left chemical engineering. They're like, yeah, we know. I'm sure you left chemical engineering. There's a good reason why you did that. But even then, I was sitting and applying for like all these acting schools and stuff like that. Never went to any, but it was always a dream that I harbored. And then I think I was lucky enough. And I do have to say that the power of energy and just manifestation and just dreaming day and night, eyes open, eyes closed, just making sure that the universe works in a way that it sort of brings that to you, that song to you. So that's what happened with me. I always knew I wanted to do it. When I came back from LA, I just stumbled upon being a VJ. And even while I was a VJ, I remember the boss who was there, Humsafar. He used to say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I said, no, I'm not going to do all of this because I have to be a movie star. And he used to look at this little girl. What is she talking about? I do have to say that I realize it now. I had more faith in myself then than I do right now, actually, which is really sad. But at that point, you couldn't shake my faith in myself. And that's a very good place to be. That's a very good feeling to have, that kind of faith in your own self, what you think you can achieve, the limits that you set for yourself. I was a big dreamer, big dreamer. I want to take all of you guys back to my student days just a little bit before I answer your question. Through the time that I was dreaming, and I was dreaming all the time, but I was also going to college. I also had 2 jobs. I used to work 2 jobs, pay the rent on my own. I had to fend for myself. And I think when you look at me and when people look at me, they don't think that this girl did all of that, right? Maybe the way I speak or the way I am, I don't know what it is, but the truth is that a lot of who I am today, it has so much to do with the fact that I lived that life. That life where and I've said it many times, cleaned toilets, been a cashier, been spoken to terribly by customers. You know, it was a whole different life altogether. But I'm so, so grateful for that, because today when I act or when I'm on set, and obviously in every industry there is a hierarchy, right? So when I'm on set, a lot of the times I'm given a lot of importance. And I've always found that strange, right? Because I keep telling everybody, people keep saying, oh, you're humble. And I keep telling people, no, I'm just doing my job. And that is something that life in LA, all those years of working all kinds of odd jobs, taught me. The other thing that did for me, coming to acting, is that I bring all those experiences with me. I have that sort of exposure and experience that I bring when I am on screen and I'm acting. There are times where, and I love observing people, I also love talking to people. Like, I'm not one of those actors who doesn't like people. I love people. I love hearing people's stories. And what happens is sometimes I'll be reading something and I'll remember something, someone telling me something, and I'll bring that in. But I'll take you through the craft. So my first film was Bowl, and I was a baby who had just had a baby. So I had like a 5-month-old Aslan with me while I shot for Bowl. And I literally just used to stand in front of the camera. I knew my lines. And Shoaib Mansoor, who's a very big filmmaker, used to be like, "Bas, just say, however you're talking right now, just say it, you know." So that initially just taught me honesty, some sort of, whatever it is that is coming to you. I had no tools. My craft was not developed at all, you know, none whatsoever. And then, of course, Humsafar happened, where I learnt a lot from all the actors and mainly my director, Sarmat Khusat. And he told me something very important, which was that, look, you're not a trained actor. So you don't have that magic toolbox that is, you know, okay, now I have to cry, so I'm going to go back here, or I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to bring it on. Right now, you don't have any of this. So how about you just, Urdu mein kehte hain ki line pe iman le aaye, which is basically you swear by the lines, the dialogues, the scene. And I think I still do that.
Yeah.
I bring some sort of honesty, whatever I can. I look at it, I read it, I absorb it. And then I try to deliver my lines as honestly as possible. As the years have gone by, I have obviously learned a lot, right? So I've learned to disconnect. I've learned to not go back into a memory and think about a very painful time that I may have gone through and bring that to the table, because that can also mess with my head psychologically, right? So I think my craft and how I'm acting and the different tools that I use, the different ways that I bring in little things have changed over the years. And yes, like you said, what you guys see on screen, sometimes it's very different to what we are going through off screen, you know? There are a lot of times you've come to set crying, and, you know, I've had my makeup artist fix me 4 times because my liner kept bleeding or my mascara was bleeding because I couldn't help it. Tears kept rolling down. And I had to be dancing on stage, or I had to be doing a very romantic and a very happy scene. But that is what we do. That is our job. And I think everybody does that in every industry. It's just that the difference is that we are public personalities. We have to look a certain way and act a certain way a lot of the times. We have to have a smile on our face. We have to act like we are happy. So that sometimes can be taxing on the mind. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I'll tell you what, as much as it, sometimes I feel like a lot of my friends like, but you know, this also has an impact on your mental health. And for sure, the fact that I am an actor, the fact that I'm also a popular actor, you know, because there is a difference, you know, because how the public reacts to you is very different when you are that famous or you've been put on a pedestal. It's very different. So both can be very taxing, but I swear it's the greatest form of therapy for me. I feel like a little kid, you know, like even now talking about it, I'm just like, it's fun. The only time I like being on an airport is when he says, look into that little camera, and I'm like, I'm joking. But yeah, I love it. I love acting. It's like what I wanted to do as a little girl, and it's my song, and I want to sing it till the day I die. Yeah.